And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Let's see here. Boom, there we go. We're live. How are you guys? So I love to start off the first minute of everything that we do here, just asking where you guys are from. I know we've got a lot of people from the West Coast of the United States, Midwest, UK. Where are you guys watching from today? Fill in the comments. Hope you guys are doing really well this Saturday. I've got a lot of stuff I dug into. I've got a lot of stuff to cover. Super excited. We are changing the format up a little bit today in the best ways possible. I'm actually looking for a little bit more interaction from you guys from the first part of our show. Usually I go through some stories that I found, and I definitely am going to share that to you guys today, but I'd love to hear some of your feedback along the way. What do you guys think as we're going through? A little bit of interaction is also fun. What's up, David from West Michigan? We've got Steven from New York City. What's up, Holistic Dad? You've been waiting for this all week? So have I. I have been waiting for this all week. My favorite part of the week is streaming with you guys, just chatting about Michigan people coming to Orlando. What's up, all you Michigan people coming here? Sunny Northern California, what's going on? Tim, what's going on, buddy? Good talking to you this week. Yeah, definitely some cool Disney news. I feel like I'm going to break my first Disney story today. I dove in. Nobody else is talking about it yet. So I'm excited to try to talk to you about that a little bit here. So let me just get one quick other thing I wanted to pull up here before we get into it. Where else we got? People from Massachusetts, Colorado, UK. What's up, Ned Kelly, my man? How are you guys? Citrus 403. Yeah, we've run into a bunch of people on the street now. If you guys see us out and about filming, we're out usually every Thursday and Friday all over Central Florida, and definitely stop, say hi. I love meeting you guys, talking about what you like about the channel, what we need to do differently. It's like just super helpful, and just love just chatting with you guys. It's a lot of fun. All right, one more thing here. We're going to get rolling. Des Moines, Iowa. Netherlands in the back of the house. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you. All right, that should be perfect. Some of these people's websites are just massively slow. Our website is massively slow. Our Pozek group website, we're actually just paid to get it revamped. In 6 weeks, it should be done. And we're going to make it a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more like blog-esque. We're going to be doing a lot of content creation, which we're going to talk about today. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right. Well, cool. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about today is Epcot. I found as I was kind of going through a bunch of different things today. What's going on? Jeff, you're ready to go to Disneyland. Thank God. Disneyland's finally opening up. That's amazing. That's so super cool to see. So cool. Let's dive into this today. I've got the first thing I thought. This is like my breaking story. I'm going to start with this. So it won't exactly go downhill from here, but it's just something that I think is super cool. So Epcot, back in 2018 revealed kind of how they're going to redo everything that's going on in Epcot. And you look back like 2018, there were all these articles that people ran, different renderings and that kind of thing. Guardians of the Galaxy was revealed at the time. And if you go to Epcot, you go to kind of see a lot of the really cool interactive stuff they have coming along, right? But then for the past 2 years, nobody said anything about the new hotel that's coming. And so you've got the new Star Wars hotel at Hollywood Studios, amazing. You have all of this stuff around Magic Kingdom. You've got Grand Floridian, Polynesian. A lot of these are undergoing massive changes, but nothing was going on at Epcot yet. So I'm digging around over the week, and I see Epcot Future World Hotel has been revitalized as of 2/4 of 21. So this is just in the past month. They're talking about the new hotel that's going in. So I'm like, well, how did I miss this? Like, this has to be news. I start jumping on all different websites and nobody's talking about it yet. So anyhow, so they're looking at like, where is this going to be on the map? That's the one thing everybody was wondering. Some people thought, like, if you're looking here, is it going to be up front here? Is it going to be towards the back? Nobody really knows. But I do say that over the next month or so, I'm sure we're going to start seeing renderings coming out and that kind of thing. But as I dive into bids and sort of thing, they're looking at, here's what's going on with Walt Disney Imagineering, published date, February 4th. I said, plug in right here. Okay, there's an address of where it's going to be on Avenue of the Stars. So I try to jump in on Avenue of the Stars. Where is that going to be? It shows that it's kind of by Soarin'. I don't think that that's where it's going to end up. There's really not a lot of land around there. There's really not a lot of stuff to redevelop in that area. But that's the address that they're giving it on Avenue of the Stars. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like staying on property that close to the parks? being able to walk right into Epcot, being able to walk right into Magic Kingdom. Is that something that you guys really dig? Let me know. We enjoy it. I know we go when we stay at the Grand Floridian. You used to have to jump on the monorail and take it around to Magic Kingdom. Now you can actually walk. They put in a bridge. It just opened up. I noticed it over the past month or so that you can actually just walk all the way there, which is pretty cool. So at night, it's all lit up. A lot of times you see deer as you're walking back. It's pretty cool. I dig it. That's one of my favorite things to do is stay on property. Even though they're getting rid of like Magical Express or they're going to make you start paying for it, there's still so many benefits of staying on property that I think not enough people realize. So the fact that you don't have to get a rental car, you can pretty much stay on property, take the bus everywhere, I think is like a huge, huge point. So let's get into a couple other things here that we found. Somebody asked about Island Village. So as of this week, again, no formal announcement over in Celebration, but as we're talking about Celebration, I thought I'd bring this up. So no formal announcement about Island Village. Again, I check multiple times a week because so many of you guys ask about it. I have so many clients that are interested in purchasing there, and they're releasing like little lots, little layouts, nothing amazing, like full information yet. But one thing I thought I'd share with you guys, because I know a lot of people don't know about it, is Celebration Point. So one of the things that people say about Celebration is if you're not right near downtown, shopping gets to be a little tough. And so the whole walkability of Celebration is kind of like part of the allure. But if you start getting all the way over to Island Village, what is there going to be, close by? So this is actually Celebration Point. Let's see if I can zoom in. Maybe it's a little bit more helpful for you guys. Nope, that's just on mine. Go on this side here. No, it's not zooming in. Their website is super massively slow. So Celebration Point is actually going to have a Publix, a Walgreens. Right now they've got silly stuff like Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, which everybody, I guess, needs. But Advent Health is going in, a French cafe, a Domino's, a nail place, UPS, and again, another Publix, which I think is great for that side of Celebration. They were going to put in a Dave & Buster's. And honestly, if I lived in Celebration, I wouldn't want a Dave & Buster's right there, bringing that kind of noise and just different stuff right there in the community. Thankfully, that got scrapped in lieu of a Publix, which I think is a really good thing. But that's the really awesome thing I think about this area is that it's going to get a little bit more amenities and maybe a little bit more neighborhood-esque instead of so touristy. I think is a big plus. What do you guys think? Yeah, Patricia, that's awesome about the new hotel. Like, I'm super excited to hear like a little bit more about it. I'm sure renderings are going to come out soon. If they're filing, there's going to be enough people that finally hear about it that it's going to start popping out. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Anyways, so that's some shopping stuff over in Celebration. There's my nervous tick again. I'm not really nervous. People always say it's a nervous tick, but anyhow. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to show you guys today. The migration map came out. I thought this was brilliant. Check this out. So it shows this is actually a moving trend of like where people are leaving from and where they're going to. And I thought this was actually brilliant to see because I'm huge on Orlando and Florida in general. There's people moving here like crazy. Pre-pandemic, there was like 1,000 people moving to Orlando every single week. That slowed down a little bit as we started seeing a kind of net migration because of tourism and that kind of thing. But now that's kind of really come back very, very strong. So if you look at this map, this is really interesting. The red is where people have it's a negative, right? Negative migration out of the area. So really the Midwest, Northeast, a lot of people leaving California, a little bit of the Northwest, but it looks like they're kind of spreading out if you're up in Seattle and Washington. But then look where people are moving to in the United States. It's amazing to see how many people are moving. Texas, the Carolinas, and Florida seem to be where a lot of people are moving. So if you're thinking about moving here, you're not alone. And the cool thing is there are a lot of opportunities with new construction and different things finally coming online. And yeah, just excited to keep sharing with you guys. But I thought this was interesting because I'm always talking about how I think amazing Orlando is and how I think it's kind of underrated in regards to even if you're not into tourism, that it's an amazing place to be. And this map just kind of further shows that. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's get into a couple other things here. Oh, seems to be going a little slow on my computer. Hopefully it's okay on your guys' end there. Let's close out some of this stuff. Is it kind of getting a little glitchy on your end, just out of curiosity? Let me know. Hmm. Uh-oh. And he's back. Jeez. The fact that 50 of you guys hung out, so sorry. You ever get to a point where like you have a laptop and you've had it for a few years and you just don't want to like download everything from there onto a new laptop, so you delay buying a new one? That's where I'm at right now, but definitely going to go buy a new one like today. So anyways, let's get into a couple more stories before this gets too much longer. Here we go. So share screen, boom. Somebody let me know in the comments if you can that you see me back. That would be super helpful. Yay, awesome, Jeff. Angelo, thank you. So, all right, cool. So let's get into this a little bit more, and hopefully things continue to do what they do. So here we go. Boom. So this guy's house went back on the market. I talked a little bit about this, and if you follow me on Instagram, I have we announced that we're doing a new newsletter. So if you go to pgweeklynewsletter.com, you can sign up. It's completely free. And we talk a little bit about some of the cool sales that are happening here, just different real estate. Everything that I do here, we're going to put into kind of a newsletter format. I'm hiring some content creators to create some value, additional value to what we're already doing every other Saturday, but just a way you can keep in touch with our clients and everything that we're doing here in Orlando. So I'm kind of excited to share. So anyways, the big guy Shaq's house went back on the market. That was an interesting piece today I was going to get into. But one other thing I wanted to chat with you guys before this started crashing, and it's starting to wig out a little bit. So let's do this. I'm going to close this out because I want to make sure that we don't lose each other again. I'd love to get into some Q&A. I think that that's probably the best part of our day, that what we do on a weekly basis is kind of get into your guys' Q&A. And so if you guys have questions for me, make sure you drop them down below and we'll get those started to get answered and kind of roll from there. There's some other things that we're going to put out in our weekly newsletter this week. So it's interesting to see Winter Garden or Winter Park Village. If you guys know anything about Winter Park, there's like the downtown area of Winter Park that's got Park Ave that is like super walkable restaurant area that's just unbelievably beautiful. And then there's Winter Park Village. It's kind of just like random shopping strips, not super sexy at all. There's a standalone PF Chang's and some other kind of stuff along the way. The owner of that is actually completely redoing the area. And so I'm going to send that out this week as one of the articles that I wanted to share, but this thing is glitching out a little bit. But anyways, they're doing a more walkable space. And so I think if I'm you guys, I'm looking for more and more walkable areas. So like O-Town West, I think is going to be a very walkable community. Downtown Winter Garden is already a very walkable community. If you live over in Hamlin, that's going to be more and more of a walkable community as that kind of goes on. So it's interesting to see sort of these developers finally hear what we've been saying, which is people want more walkable space and not just more houses on top of houses on top of houses, right? And so it's kind of an interesting play. I hope that they dive into even more. Baldwin Park is a great walkable community, right? And so how important is that to you guys? I am curious to hear from your perspective. Is that something that you absolutely want to see? Do you just need to be within 5 or 10 minutes? Do you not really care? Because like with Celebration, Walkable, all of these different places, that's one of the biggest trends I feel like I hear is that people want to be able to be at home and then walk to Publix, be at home, walk to the bar, the coffee shop, whatever it is, and then pop back home. And that's kind of like the Florida life, right? Being able to enjoy the weather and that sort of thing. So Marie, thanks for asking the question. So if you want to sign up, it's pgweeklynewsletter.com and you can sign up there. It's completely free and kind of roll from there. So Stephen asks, what are some disadvantages of a 55 and older community? So I think when you're looking at disadvantages, I think that the fact that you can't sell it to everybody should you want to would really be one of the only disadvantages I could see up front. Other than that, they've got lifestyle directors. They've got all of these really, really cool things that you can have taken advantage of. It's amazing to me that there's not more 55 and older communities in Central Florida. There's the Villages, which is like an hour away. There's a few. There's a really nice one down in Davenport. There's a couple in the area, but not a ton as many as you would think. And I think that that's actually a huge opportunity for people, developers. And yeah, so definitely we'll see how that kind of pops out. Barbara said walkability is important. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. David Middleton asks, uh, who do I feel is my favorite rival or arch enemy of the other YouTube realtors? I, don't, I love that question. I think there's some other realtors that do a really good job here in Orlando. There's some that do it very differently than I, which is totally fine. Some only do model home tours. Some only do, vlog style kind of stuff. I try to do a little bit of everything. But I look at like a national level, like who I'm trying to be more like. And so for me, it's like I want to be Ryan Serhant meets the Property Brothers. This is kind of like my vibe. So that's all I'm focused on. So in terms of rivals and that kind of thing, you're hilarious. There we go. That's looking better and better in terms of the. All right. So RJ asks, what do you hear like the pros and cons would be about living in the Lake Mary area? I love the Lake Mary area. I would say that a lot of the area is a little bit older. So you have some older housing stock. It's also a bit farther away from a lot of stuff. So if you're like important to be close to downtown, it's not too bad. If you suffer, right? So getting up and down I-4 is a nightmare. You want to stay away from it as much as possible. And so really that's the only drawback. I love the Heathrow area, the Lake Mary area. It's beautiful. You got area. It's just a little bit farther away from everything. Much like, in my opinion, like OV up there, you get a lot more. Crazy. Keep losing us. And so I feel like I'm going to try it one more time. And if we don't do it, then I'll reschedule for next week. But everything looks really clear on my side now, finally. So hopefully you guys are seeing it as well. And then we're going to keep rolling. If not, we'll try it again for next week after we get some new systems going on. So Angela says, what am I on dial-up? I'm not on dial. I'm plugged in. It's just the craziest thing. I don't even really know. But anyways, let's get rolling back then. So Jeff asked if we need to create a GoFundMe. It's not a financial thing. It's really more like just taking the time to do it. It's a time thing. All right, let's see. Yeah, Jay, you mentioned that there's a lot of 55 and older plus people in South Florida. Yeah, there's a ton in South Florida. Naples, Fort Myers, all these other things. And so when people think Florida, they automatically think retirement village. They think different things going on in the area. We just don't see a lot of that here. And so, but there are going to be more. There's actually one really big one that they asked me not to tell, but it's very close to Disney, like very close. And it's something that I think when it gets released, not only is it going to be priced well, but it's going to probably sell out like that. So as soon as I'm allowed to tell you guys, I would definitely let you know for all the 55 and older people that are asking me. What stores are going to go in at Flamingos at Western? So for others of you who don't know, that Flamingo Crossing over at Western Way, it's this back end of Disney where basically Disney owns all of this property. And there's a lot of the shops that got shut down because of the FDOT buyout that are going to be relocated over to Flamingo Crossing. And so from what I hear, it's going to be like a small Target, a Walgreens, and that's all that's been announced right now, but like one of those pop in, pop out Targets. So it's not going to be one of the super Targets that we're used to. But you think about that whole Flamingo Crossing area, there's like 3,000 units of cast member housing that are going in over there, plus hotels. And so my guess is it's going to be anything you can think of to support sort of that area. I do now know just up 429 off of Seidel and up in Hamlin, they just announced that there's going to be a Chick-fil-A, a PF Chang's pop in, pop out. So not a full PF Chang's. There's, that kind of stuff, more chain stuff coming in just to sort of support the area. Nothing incredibly unique, unfortunately. So anyhow. That's a good question. So Tim asks, what do I do? Well, this happens actually often. So, so what happens when two people want to work with the same house, and how do I get on your good side? Yeah, because we definitely do win more than often. So I typically don't work on the same house with two different buyers. I will usually suggest that you work with somebody on my team if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially whoever called me first about it or whoever reached out first about it is who I'll kind of work with. We try to stay that ethical line as absolutely possible and make sure that everybody's taken care of there. So that's kind of funny. What's up, Johnny Manning here in Livonia? Get it together, man. This stuff never happens. The Property Brothers. That is true. They have, if HGTV wants to call me and they want to put this production together, I'm on it, man. I'm there. That'll be so much fun. What's up, Jay Michael? Jay Michael is the man. For those of you that don't know, he's the guy that puts together everything on our video side. He makes everything look amazing. He's our behind the scenes guy that makes our YouTube channel run. He is freaking incredible. Love that guy. So Holistic Dad says, we're getting a home built in Waterley. What do I think about the builder DR Horton? Every time someone talks about builders on YouTube, they talk about everybody except DR. So it depends on the product that you're building with DR Horton. This actually just came down this week. They used to be able to go, you go in with DR Horton and you pick your lot, you pick your layout, you pick your finishes, you pick everything just like a normal build process would be. They've completely changed that as of this week to where they're basically only building spec houses. And that makes a really tough deal. I had a bunch of buyers lined up that were ready to move on empty lots. And they said, whoa, sorry. We changed the way we're doing things. We're just going to spec out everything. And once we get to the stage 8, they call it, which is like after the countertops go in, then we're going to list the house and see what happens. And that's how we're going to go about doing business, like specifically in Waterley and some of the other communities. I think as a builder, they're a good entry-level builder. I like them better than Lennar. I think that any big box builder you're going to run into issues with just because it's a production line. You don't get the hand holding that you do with like sort of like the middle and top tier builders. That being said, I think for the price, they're really hard to beat. And so just understanding the mindset, like going in of what you're getting ahead of time is going to be just real important. So have your home inspected at the end and then really stay on top of your warranty, people. That's my best advice. Mario says, the YouTube gods are trying to stop greatness. I don't know about greatness, but how about just like, staying on top of things would be amazing. Yeah, Holistic Dad. Yeah, they told us that a few days ago. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? How things just completely change. And the industry, the reason they're doing it is because the market is so hot right now. Here's why I think they're doing it. Here's why I think DR Horton is pushing out the build process is because they're so backed up on the contracts that they have currently that they know that if they can push off purchase prices for 3 to 6 more months, the values will continue to go up. And so instead of selling you something today at 400,000 or 500,000, they can sell it to you 6 months from now for 425. Tack on 25 grand. And so that's why I think they're doing it. That plus the supply chain is really messed up right now in terms of getting houses built. It just gets to be tough. So Jay asks, do I think there's a lack of high-paying jobs in Orlando? Some of the Wall Street firms are leaving West Palm Beach and Miami. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, West Palm and Miami are definitely more like the New York scene, right? A lot of those people are coming down. High-paying jobs in Orlando, a lot of people laugh when I say that there are more coming to here because we have a lot of tourism jobs. If you're going to go try to make 6 figures and work at Disney, probably not going to happen unless you work your way up over a lot of years. Entry-level kind of stuff just doesn't pay super well. And we have a lot of entry-level tourism jobs here. That said, you've got places like Lake Nona where they're, Lake Nona and Maitland and downtown, they're bringing in new tech jobs. You've got a lot of the space industry that gets drawn over from the coast. You've got a lot of like the Medical City area. There's a lot of new high paying jobs going in there. Johnson & Johnson Performance Center. You've got just a lot of big white collar jobs, if you will, that pay really well that are coming to the area. A lot of companies trying to relocate here. Every time I talk to somebody over at the Orlando Economic Club, they're like, listen, the amount of people that are doing prospectuses of moving their headquarters or maybe like their eastern of country headquarters down this way and relocating jobs to Orlando is huge. And so I think that more and more jobs are going to be coming to the area. And that's just going to be a really powerful thing for everybody that lives here. So just depends on the industry you're in. And I think that if you just go in thinking like, I'm probably not going to work at Disney and make 6 figures unless you're like higher up, just kind of keep that in mind. Angelo mentioned the new development and celebration. I know my thing was glitching out earlier, so I'll say it again. As of this week, there's been no Island Village announcement, although there has been like emails coming out. You guys probably got the same one of just like the new layouts and potential kind of stuff. They keep just hyping it up more than anything. But here's the crazy thing. They have 7,000 people on their wait list for that neighborhood and only like 283 lots in the first phase. So there's going to be a lot of people that are left out, unfortunately. And so that's why I stay on top of them 2-3 times a week until we get that announcement on what's going on. Yeah. So the real, I got to get this right. The real Mr. Meatball said, I know a lot of executives at Universal who do very well. Exactly. Yeah. Disney executives, Universal executives, like all the executive C-level stuff or even up there, they do really well. You're absolutely right. I think, but the majority of the tourism jobs that people think of aren't probably high paying. But if you get outside of the tourism area, there's a lot of new cool jobs coming to the area. Clark Norton, what's going on? Long time no talk. Like what, 5 seconds ago or something like that. Earlier we were checking. What's going on, man? Good to see you. So here's a good question. So what are my thoughts on the Hanover family of builders? So funny, somebody from their social media team just reached out to me today. I think they do a good job. I think any of these like small tiered builders, I like. I think that there's another one coming in town over in Horizon West. They're like a really small builder. They're escaping me, but they're actually they're in Winding Bay now, not K-Hov, but the new phase of Winding Bay. They're a small tier builder. The owner visits the site often. Like I like smaller mid-tier builders probably the best. So although like Toll Brothers is a really great builder, they're a national builder, the majority of the builders that build like quality and stand behind their warranty are those like smaller tier builders. So I'm a really big fan of those kind of folks. Yeah, you're right. So so the real Mr. Meatball says, there's manufacturing growing in the Orlando area as well. Yeah, I mean, Amazon's moving people here, a lot of warehouse jobs, a lot of manufacturing jobs. I like it. I think that the cool thing about our city and the cool thing about our local government is that they really are pushing. Like they love tourism. Like Orlando is synonymous with tourism, and they want to diversify for if and when we go through another recession, which we will, and people pull back on tourism, that we have options for other stuff. And so they're really incentivizing people that are outside of the tourism industry to really come here. And I think that's a brilliant thing. Yeah, David, you said Rockwell Builders for Winding Bay. Correct. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I met the owner actually at their opening just last week. Seems like a super good guy. He's got a huge pedigree in the construction business and just really seems to really care, which freaking doesn't exist in building right now. It's interesting. Through our last recession, we saw a lot of the builders get Wall Streetized, right? It's all just become sort of this production building kind of thing where the customer service has completely gone out the window. So me as an agent, that's like my job, is to try to bring some of the customer service back into the process. Whereas the builders just don't really care for the most part. There are some builders that still do an amazing job, but for the most part, most of them are run by Wall Street, and they're just like, how fast can we get these kind of things out the window? That's why they've gotten rid of like home inspections. They've gotten through different walkthroughs. There's a lot of builders pulling out a lot of stuff to make another buck. And it's something that if you're not seasoned in, something that you're not paying attention to through the process, can really get you a poor product. Hope that makes sense. Yeah. So, yeah, Chena said Element Builders, again, small builder, local builder, their headquarters, downtown Winter Garden. They build an amazing home. They're definitely more of a luxury builder, but they do an incredible, yeah, absolutely. Any comments on rising mortgage rates? So here's the deal. Mortgage rates could not have stayed this low forever. And so I think that rising mortgage rates are probably a healthy thing, even though most people don't think that way. I think that will hopefully put a little bit of a tamper on the market, which right now is bananas. Everything that gets listed that's between, in our area, anything between, 250 to 500 is multiple offers, crazy stuff, waived appraisals. Values are just going up like crazy. So I think that rising mortgage rates will hopefully put a little bit of a governor on that as people, gets less and less affordable. I think it's probably a good thing, personally. So what do I think about buying a home in Dr. Phillips for long-term rental? I think it's a great idea. So I think that if you're going to buy a house in that area, especially where we were looking, I think that has plenty of good jobs in the area. I think it's also really well taken care of area. There's obviously a lot of shops. A lot of those older neighborhoods that are surrounding Dr. Phillips, people are moving into those like crazy, buying those $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses, putting a bunch of money into them for long-term investment. So I think that's great. You look at what's happening in Bay Hill. Bay Hill for a while there had a little bit of it started not going down, but just kind of like wasn't as desirable. Now all of a sudden Bay Hill is like booming because people are buying amazing single-story homes that they completely renovate for not a ton of money, and proximity, you can't beat the proximity. So I think that's a great thing. So Google Maps says that Winter Park to Magic Kingdom is 35 minutes or so. Is Google Maps full of crap? Yeah, I mean, I would say without traffic for sure. Yeah, without traffic for sure. But if you get stuck in traffic, which in Orlando you will, especially as things continue to open up, you got to remember we're still not nearly at capacity, and there's still a lot of people working from home. So as things open up more and more and more, that drive is going to go from that 35 minutes that they're talking about, which probably is more like 40, 45. And it could be, depending on the time of day, could be an hour. It just depends on which way you take. And the interesting thing about Orlando is that there's really no, other than the toll roads, there's really not a lot of like side streets that you can like jump over to a side street and take it down all the way to the park. So you have to jump on I-4 or up and around either way on the toll roads, which are usually pretty not congested. So not too bad. Yeah, mortgage rates. So do I think they're going to keep going up in the next few weeks? A month ago, it was 275 and now it's 3.25. Yeah, exactly. I mean, do I think they're going to keep going up? Not that big of a jump, not a full half point jump in a week, right? But I do think they're probably going to continue to go up, and probably by the end of the year, they settle somewhere around 3.75. That's my guess based on what's going on in the market. So if you can lock in earlier, do it. I'm in the middle of buying an investment property myself as new construction that doesn't close until November. Am I worried about the rates? Yeah, of course, because this is something that's going to be a long-term play for me. But there's enough room in there for me that I kind of anticipated it. So again, just going in, understanding that, especially if you're doing new construction, that you want to lock in as quick as you can in the process, in your mortgage process. Usually that's 60 days so that you can save some money. Super good question, Tim. So in the most of the videos, I see almost no cars on the roads in Horizon West and Winter Garden. Are the highways the traffic areas? Side city streets usually are okay. Yeah, I mean, so like Horizon West, like if you look in like Seidel Road, you look at Avalon. Avalon used to be this two-way, like nothing of a road. Now it's a 4-lane highway. It's like amazing what just happened overnight, but it's fairly well used. I would say that for the most part, they've done a really good job opening and widening these roads back in the neighborhoods. But some of the areas like going through downtown Windermere is a nightmare, like at 8 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, just super slow go getting through all of that stuff. But like the 535 area, there's a lot of ways you can get around where, yeah, it's actually super easy to get around our area where you don't hit a lot of traffic. I think it's a great thing. So yeah, and then you've got the toll roads, which alleviate a lot of that stuff as well. So as long as you get away from the tourism areas, you're good to go. Yeah. So JS, what are my plans for the new purchase in Lake Nona? It's going to be a rental property. Yeah. So we bought this townhouse. It's specifically just for to rent it out. We're going to go 25% down, probably on a 30-year mortgage, but 25% down, even with homeowners association, all that stuff, all in. The monthly payments around $2,000 a month. Should cash flow, no problem. Rents out for about $2,300 a month. But really, I'm buying it for appreciation. I think that whole area in Loria Park is going to continue to appreciate really quick. So, but for me, it's a long-term play. I'm buying it. It's going to be a couple of my kids' college fund. I'll sell it off when they're ready to go. And that's kind of my plan. This is a great question. So any notable regulations on teardowns and old houses on an old house and building a new house? Depends on the area and depends on if the house is like, so like Winter Park, for example, tearing down some houses in some areas of Winter Park, the city council approves most of those. And sometimes they don't love that you're tearing down something old to build something new. It's kind of funny. Some certain areas, Winter Garden, downtown Winter Garden, if it's in the actual city, it can be a little bit tougher. But people do it all the time. It's just going through a little bit more regulation, a little bit more red tape, make sure that what you're putting back is going to be a significant improvement the way that they want to see it. All of those things are kind of what they look at when you're going through that process. But yeah, as long as it's not like a protected historic house or something like that, there's definitely a way through. Just understand certain municipalities make it easier than other ones. Yeah, Jay, $2,300 for a rental in Lake Nona. I mean, here's the deal. It's like, I don't know if you guys know where the Pixon is. I mean, most of you probably won't, but the Pixon is like this micro apartment in Laureate Park. They're like 1-bedroom, 900 square foot studios. They rent for $2,100 a month. And when they put the building up, they rent it out in like a month. Unbelievable. So for us, a 3-bedroom, 1,900 square foot, 2.5 bath townhome, I think it's going to rent out no problem. Yep. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to seeing you guys soon, for sure. Got a bunch of clients in here today. This makes me feel so good. I love hanging out with you guys. And anybody who wants to show up on a Saturday afternoon and hang out, I'm game. I love chatting this stuff through. But if my clients run out and say, hey, what's going on? That means a ton. Thanks for checking in. All right, I'm going to go back up here. I had a lot of questions earlier on as we were getting a little bit of a gap here. Oh, good question here, Amber. So Amber says, looking at the Claremont and Lake Mary areas, does anybody have any advantages over the other? I really think it has to do with the area. So like, obviously, so Claremont is newer, smaller, typically homes. You've got a lot of them. They're very affordable. They're much closer to Disney if that's important to you. Lake County taxes are a little bit lower. So there's a lot of things that you might like about Claremont, but really it's just kind of like a lifestyle. Lake Mary is, again, a little bit farther north in Orlando. So you just have a bit of a more drive to everything. And so I think it's a beautiful area. There's a lot of like older neighborhoods up in like Longwood and some of those other areas that are like North Orlando that are just beautiful. Yeah, I would say that just different depending on what you're looking for. A lot of new construction in Claremont. If you're okay with maybe updating a little bit of an older house in Lake Mary, then that's what you do. Let's see. Cheryl asks, oh, goodness gracious. Pumping out again. What's going on over here? All right. So Cheryl asks, when is Waterley scheduled to be full? So, originally it was like supposed to be somewhere along the lines of 1,800 houses when they were all finished. And that was supposed to take like till 2024. And now I think it's going to be done probably by the end of next year. So that's what's going to go on. What's going on? Appreciate the love, my friend. I'm glad you learned a lot about the area. That's super cool. Yeah. So the real Mr. Meatball said Lake Mary is way nicer. Yeah, I think it's more mature. I think that Claremont eventually is going to be this amazing area. But right now, Lake Mary is definitely more mature. So here's a good question from Citrus. It's not letting me click again. So hopefully you guys are able to hear this. And we're just going to keep rolling on some questions before we wrap up. But Citron 403 asks, do Encore and Reunion residents get full access to Reunion amenities, golf, water park, etc.? They do not. So unfortunately, you pay a lot of HOA fees to be in both Reunion and Encore. So Reunion has its own water park, its own kind of everything, and it's actually quite nice. But you don't get access to the golf and all the other stuff. If you want to be in like Reunion proper, it has 2 HOAs. You've got the main HOA plus a social membership. And if you want access to everything, it's like $800 a month. And so when you go in there, not only is it $800 a month, but you have to know, is the house that you're buying, does it have an active social membership or not? Because if it doesn't have an active social membership, you can't actually get one anymore. So they've cut off any new memberships to happen. And so it's like a very convoluted, like understanding the whole process of the neighborhood can be really, really tricky. So yeah, just give me a call if you have more questions about the neighborhood and that kind of thing. All right. Well, listen, I don't want this thing to glitch out, and I want to make sure I'm very clear and honest with you guys. I so appreciate you taking the time out on Saturday to hang out with me. In 2 weeks, we'll be back to do a little bit more of this. And I've got a bunch of other stuff I want to share with you guys. Make sure, again, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, we're putting out just stories about Orlando and new real estate stuff that we find, and just kind of like special interest stuff about theme parks and all that cool stuff here locally. It's PG weekly newsletter. Make sure you sign up. And if you have any other questions in the meantime, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. It's at Ken Pozek. I interact with a lot of you guys over there, and I love to do it. And I think that's going to be it for this week. And I apologize again for the glitches. We got our technology worked out here. I think we're on to something here. So I appreciate it and hope you guys have a wonderful week. It won't even let me stop. It's like super excited for me to keep rolling.